Well, hello, whiskey lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Or perhaps instead of hello, I should say konnichiwa, because today I would like to present to you a Japanese whiskey. A Japanese whiskey while enjoying my summer holiday here in southern France, in the Provence. Ville-sur-Ozon is the name of a very quiet, very small but very friendly village. This is like living like a king in France. But anyway, back to the whiskey at hand. Today I would like to present to you the Taketsuru Pure Malt. Now first, something about pure malt. As the word explains, pure malt means everything that is in here is malt whiskey. As opposed to a blend, which is a mix, as you know, of malt whiskey or malt whiskies and grain whiskey or whiskies, right? Now, the term pure malt means this is comprised of only single malt whiskies. The difference is, it's not a single malt, it's a pure malt. It is a term that was used in Scotland until a couple of years ago as well. And then they had pure malt or even vatted malt, meaning it was a mix, a blend, sort of a blend of different single malts. Now, in an effort to create more transparency and to inform the consumers, the term pure malt was banned in the UK and was replaced by blended malt, making it less confusing. Anyway, back to the whiskey at hand. The Taketsuru Pure Malt. So, pure malt is a blended malt, and in this case, it is comprised of two single malts, two Japanese single malts. Taketsuru, as you may know, is sometimes called the father of Japanese whiskey. He is the founder of the Nikka concern, and Nikka has two single malt whiskey distilleries. There is Yoichi, which he founded in 1934, and then there was the Sendai distillery, which was renamed. It was founded in 1979, but it was renamed in 2001 into Miyagikyo distillery. So now you have Yoichi and Miyagikyo as two single malt whiskies from the same concern. Because also very different from Scotland is that when Japanese create a blend, they do so with whiskies that they make in-house in their own companies. So they do not, like in Scotland, exchange malts among themselves. No, they do not. They create their blends with what they make in-house. There you have it. Now, there used to be a Taketsuru 12-year-old and even a 17-year-old, and I've even had the fortune of trying the Taketsuru 25-year-old, but that's an 800 whiskey bottle, so, well, not for the faint-hearted. This, however, is now the Taketsuru Pure Malt with no age statement, because whiskey is booming yet once again, and not only Nikka but also Suntory, who own Yamazaki and Hakshu, have withdrawn their age statement whiskies and have replaced them with no age statement whiskies, so that they can they can supply it, because the demand is much higher than what they can create or what they anticipated to need 10 to 12 years from when they created it. Anyway, what we have here is the Taketsuru Pure Malt, which is basically around 90% of Miyagikyo and around 10% of Yoichi, and it matured for at least 10 years, so why they don't put an age statement on it is beyond me, because it has matured for 10 years or more. Also, a part of what is in here has matured on sherry casks to give it an extra spiciness. So that's what we have here. The Taketsuru Pure Malt is bottled at 43%, which is a drinking strength. Brand new bottle. In my neck of the woods in Ghent, in Belgium, I can find this for between 50 and 65 euros, which is not cheap. But I found this bottle, oops, a brand new one. I found this bottle in a supermarket here in southern France, and it was only 35. So obviously, I could not let it sit on the shelf. Now, 35-year-old for a no age statement whiskey seems quite a fair price to me. So I am very, very happy to be able to try this one. Taketsuru Pure Malt, 43%, and the color is, I would call this a bright golden. It's got a slightly amber sheen in it, but it's mostly bright golden. That must be a bit from the sherry casks in the mix. So, Taketsuru Pure Malt on the nose. Well, it's quite floral and sweet. I get some plums and some rhubarb. There's a hint of coffee grounds in there. Just a touch of oak, a touch of caramel and vanilla. But to be honest, on the whole, it's rather light. Maybe even delicate. On the palate then. light and playful. Very sweet again on plums. A bit of, I get some curcuma, I get some cinnamon, maybe even some iced tea on steroids. There is some nutmeg in there, so that's the sherry cask speaking. I do get some nuts as well, but again, also on the palate, it's quite light. It's refreshing and playful, but quite light. It's not as complex as you would as I would have liked. On the finish then. If there were to be a weak point in this Taketsuru Pure Malt, it's the finish. Because if you blink, it's gone. It's a very short finish. It's pleasant enough, but it is very short. So do not blink or you will miss it completely. Well, but this type of whiskey, rather light, rather playful, might be ideal for another drink entirely, which is something I would like to present to you as well. And that is the mizuwari. Don't go away. Mizuwari. Mizuwari is Japanese for mixed with water. Spirit mixed with water is highly popular in Japan. They even sell pre-mixed highballs like this. Pre-mixed mizuwaris in cans, can you believe it? All you need is a glass of ice and then pour the pre-mixed can over it. So mizuwari, now at first I was a bit hesitant because I'm like, you're not gonna use whiskey with water, are you? Why would you do that? But when the summer is this hot and we've had temperatures here about 35 degrees Celsius, then you might reconsider. And then I was like, let me give it a try. And it is the easiest cocktail in the world because all you need is 1/3 of whiskey. You might not want to do this with your best single malt scotch, right? But you don't have to do it with a bad whiskey either. What you need is 1/3 of whiskey and 2/3 of water. And that's it. It's easy as pie. Well, I did read on the Nonjata website, which is probably your most important source on everything related to Japanese whiskey. And it's even run by a compatriot of mine, Stefan van Eycken, is a Belgian living in Japan and writing about Japanese whiskey. And he even posted a beautiful recipe, if you can call it that. He said, top off your glass with ice, pour in 1/3 of whiskey, and then do 3.5 rotations with your spoon. And I was like, what 3.5? What's that all about? And then it says, then top it off with 2/3 of sparkling water and do 3.5 spoon turns again. It's got something to do with like the tea ceremony. It's not necessary, but it has a certain beauty to it. Well, as I'm not here doing a tea ceremony nor a mizuwari ceremony, but simply looking for an easy cocktail refreshing in these hot temperatures, my mizuwari is a lot easier. 1/3 of whiskey, 2/3 of sparkling water. And to be honest, the Taketsuru Pure Malt really lends itself quite good to this mizuwari because it is light, fruity on plums and rhubarb. So this gives me a very refreshing drink indeed. And this gives me a good excuse to drink whiskey all day long. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, sayonara!